So I'm just moving out. I'm just moving out. I have another meeting to attend at
Okay,
same time.
okay.
Okay.
No problem.
Carry
Thank
on,
you
yeah.
very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, two people will join from Worthreach and share microphone. They're traveling maybe. Somebody has joined. Sashi, from which MFI you are?
This is Shashi here.
Yeah.
I'm from Share Microfinance.
Okay. So he has
CTO
already,
Share Microfinance.
yeah. So he has already joined. We can start. Go ahead, Seval.
Okay, okay. You can talk to WeGrow.
Yes, yes. Already sent the message.
You talk to and okay. Also, I mean, we were having this discussion, I mean, in bits and pieces. The round of introduction. My name is Shoibal. I work with Savan and I look after the industry building side. I lead that department and I try to build up the industry to take the finance to the last person. One of the important thing which we are doing uh, from our department is to understand the technology and facilitate the technology to work better in the ecosystem. Why this initiative? As we were discussing that in many cases, this or especially the mid-size and the smaller enterprise, they were telling that they invest the money, but they do not understand what they actually they understand the requirement, but they do not understand what kind of technology will be apt for that one. And in many cases, what happens that after buying that product, after 6 months, they could understand that this is not what we are doing, we required. So there is a mismatch. This event will be basically to build together the convergence. What Mr. Maman was talking about this familiarize. If some we can have a discussion on that one. And the second thing that what we are talking about that bringing convergence, taking it on the next level. And other thing also, it's very interesting, which Mr. Maman was telling me about that if we can uh, get some idea from the bigger enterprise that they have already developed something if they want to transfer it to the smaller enterprise. So these are the 2, 3 areas we will be discussing on. So over to you, Sangeeta, for your introduction. Sangeeta is on call. So Amar, yeah, please, if you can introduce yourself.
So I am Amar Mohammed. I handle PR, IR, and ESG at Muthoot Microfin, and yeah, here to learn and help the smaller MFIs in any way if we can.
Sasi. Sasi, you are on mute.
Should I ask our CTO as well to join this call?
Please do. Please do.
Yeah,
Please
wait,
do.
let me connect with him.
Hi, Seven. Yeah, tell
Hi.
me.
Hi. If you can introduce yourself, Sasi.
Yeah, my Shashi. I work as a CTO Share Microfinance. I joined about 3 weeks ago. Share. Prior to that, I managed various positions in FIS, Bharat Financial, and Fincare Small Finance Bank.
No. Vinish.
Hi everyone. Good morning. This is Vinish, Chief Business Officer with Crowd Silicon. I'm pretty sure all aware of Crowd Silicon. So we provide technology solutions, LMS, LOS, collection, delinquency management, etc. To we have the range of clients right from the startups to which is like 25,000 crore as well. So working globally with more than 300 financial institutions. Yeah. So here to learn and here to contribute. We have got few use cases outside India where we have worked with association, which Saibol I have shared with you, right? So the case study. right? So we would love to see, what are the possibilities to replicate it and how we can go forward, especially supporting the smaller enterprise. Yeah. So and I'm sorry, I'm on international roaming right now on the road, so might be having bad network. So allow me
No
some time, like
problem.
maybe another
No problem. No
10,
problem.
15 minutes. Yeah.
No problem. Balaji?
Hey, thanks. Hey, I'm also on the road, so sorry. Couldn't put myself on the video because of the
It's
poor
fine. It's
connectivity.
fine.
Yeah. I'm Balaji, and I'm with Axion, which is a non-profit organization. Predominantly come from a technology and data background. Used to be the CTO of Ujjivan before I moved to Axion. We're working with Southern primarily to help in understanding what do these smaller MFIs need, right, from a point of view of technology. Essentially what we heard in an earlier conversation, just to, I'm expanding a little bit. What we heard in earlier focus group conversations was more like there is definitely a need for technology, right? I'm also trying to help in understanding and framing the question. There is a need for technology. Obviously, Muthu, it's great that you're on the ground because you all have progressed a lot. um, it would be interesting to see how do these small institutions start the journey, because the cost of technology for them is still prohibitive, right? And then there's cost of security very prohibitive. Many institutions have just 3-member team, 4-member teams, and they are just managing with whatever systems that they have because that's what they can afford. So it'd be interesting to understand how can there be low cost technology solutions to help them graduate to a level wherein they feel more confident and being able to deliver. That's kind of the only pitch that we're trying to think or consider, that how do we, leverage, low cost technology. Yeah, I'll pause now because that's kind of what I wanted to lay on the ground. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Amar, is your CTO coming online?
So he would have joined, but there's this weekly call going on for the heads of department. So he said he'll try to join, but it's difficult. So just attend and update him. So that's the thing.
So somebody from Whatreach has joined.
Yeah.
Can you please introduce yourself? I think, either he couldn't understand or he's on mute. He's not getting to.
Rohan, are you able to hear us? Kindly introduce yourself. Rohan, if you are there.
Sugam is here.
Sugam from another.
Sugam is from Share only, I think.
No, sir. I'm not from Share. I'm actually from M2P.
From?
M2P. We recently met in this Hathan event along with Bharat.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, let us start. We have already lost quite a bit of time. If we are trying to organize one interface between the technology company and the microfinance institutions, and these microfinance institutions, we are actually targeting the operation side and technology side, not really the CEOs of the institution, because these CTOs, they can give us possibly better insight that what is working and what is not working. What Sadhan does technically is discussing the things with the right kind of people. If we are bringing only operation side of people and not the CTO for the technology side, we won't be getting much insight. Okay. So this is where we stand, and today, I think mid-December or something, we are going to organize a small event in your in Delhi only. So this is the background of the thing. So what are the things we should be discussing? Linson Paul, where are you from?
Yeah, I am from Muthoot Microfin.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, along with Amar. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We both of us from Muthoot Microfin. Yeah.
Okay. If I can ask Shashi from this, I mean, he is representing the smaller MFI segment. So, Shashi, what exactly the challenges of the smaller MFIs? And what support do you need from this side to take your technology a step ahead?
See, one of the big challenge which we are trying to address now is um, the route optimization and the tracking. Center manager goes from one center to another center, and he travels a lot and does a collection. So optimizing his route to save the fuel cost in an automated way. We are doing it now. Anyway, we are doing it, but no, it's a manual process. There should be a system which should suggest of there are Monday to Friday there are several center meetings, and based on the route optimize, based on the lat longs locations, system should suggest, and there should be a manual changes, but no, a route optimization in an automated way, and they track it, and all the expenses related to the fuel cost and all should be in an automated way if it can come based on the how he travels. Then that will, one, it will bring in the efficiency, it will save time in the travel. Number one. Number two, it will bring down the cost for the company and increasing the profitability. This is the one big challenge which we are trying to address. Right now, it is completely manual. We should automate that. This, I think, not
Okay.
just share microfinance. I think many microfinance organizations are facing this challenge, and there are many of the organizations who are doing this manually. They talk discussions and they do a manual planning. But if there's an automated solution for this, both in planning and also expense settlement for the center managers, this is a huge cost.
Okay.
Saibal, I don't know, man, how you want to take it up. You want me to pitch in to Sashi
Yeah.
Bhai? Reply just right. Okay, so this is very, very interesting, Sashi Bhai. I think you and me, we discussed this sometime, I think long back, right? We reached this side. So we have we have tried working doing a POC on something called BR route. So there are some technical challenge we are trying to solve. What is happening is, if you look at a field officer in a month, if you look at a decent size MFI with maybe like 1,000 crore or 2,000 crore portfolios, especially with the large MFIs, what is happening is the number of hops in a month, because that is linked to their center meetings, right? So whether they are doing it weekly or fortnightly, or they are going on a monthly center meetings, right? So based on that, what is happening is the number of hops in a month, if you have to optimize them for a month, right? It might come across, let's say 150, 200 hops in a month, right from the branch to the centers and various this thing, right? So we tried doing it with Google and all, so with Google Map, and the limitation is on the number of hops. Now we are looking at some of the other alternative like TomTom and that Map My India and all that. So we are looking at that as an alternative, and it's specifically with the use case, what Sashi Bhai has said, looking at the TADA one and also the optimization. So with one of the MFI, we did it, and what they are actually, the number of center meetings and everything that they were doing it in 6 days, we were able to optimize it in 3.5 days. So with the dynamic route planning. So, and dynamic route planning also includes, delegation of the officer if the officer is on the planned or unplanned leave. It also includes their, travel allowance. It also includes, let's say, for example, if branch manager is assigning in a day, some, maybe the guy doesn't have a center in plan, but he has to go and collect some document, right? So even that is being taken up. So we are just trying to work it out and solve some licensing issues and working it out with this thing. But yeah, I mean, we have done the POC with a couple of MFIs, and it was a very good success actually.
So, Shashi, this is Subram. You know, I'm from MPT. Basically, the problem of optimizing the route that you have already said, right? This is something for us, not only as a POC, but we've actually solved it for 3 of the MFIs, right? Wherein the operational hassle and they being able to understand where they need to go first, it's already been solved for. We can connect offline more to discuss this in detail and also showcase you a solution that is already work in progress, right? That is already being used. Yeah. So this is something that is already available. Happy to connect with you offline.
No, the thing is that this is not a business deal going on. This is,
Yeah.
we are discussing about where are the gaps. So there is one of the gaps, and
Yeah.
we need to, from your end, you need to tell. And I would also like to hear from Vinesh that what challenges are you guys seeing from the other side? So now we have understood this Sasi's major problem. Sasi, apart from this one, do you have any other problem, any other challenges?
Another is, for a microphone, there's a perennial problem, the connectivity, at the rural level. So when you to implement any online solution, the connectivity is a challenge to reach to the last mile or to the branches or to the center meeting level if you have to do the transactions, via online. That's a next big challenge at the branches.
Online, what? I couldn't get you.
And, connectivity in the sense I'm talking about internet
Acha, connectivity.
internet connectivity
Uh-huh.
at the branches,
Uh,
if possible at the center level as well, but at the branches,
uh,
the connectivity. So because we work in a rural areas, not just urban, say not even semi-urban, we get to work with the rural areas where the connectivity is done. For now, we are using a dongles. Wherever
Acha.
the broadband is not available, we are using a dongle. But that connectivity is still a challenge. Though Jio and Airtel have reached to many rural areas, but still that the problem is not completely solved. So these two are the major challenges. One is a route optimization in an automated way to bring in efficiency and profitability to decrease expense. And number two is a internet connectivity in the rural branches. These two are the major hurdles to implement any space solution.
Balaji, there is a question from Balaji to you that
Sorry, Sashi, just to add, from an onboarding, do you all have any challenges around customer onboarding? Because typically, I come from an Ujjivan background. Just to try to compare smaller MFIs, we actually have this, and Craft Silicon is also on the call. So we have this Glow, and it's a device where you can actually do offline onboarding with integration to KYC and all that, right? But it becomes a little expensive at times. So I'm just trying to get a sense of how is your technology advanced, and I'm not expecting a response, but is that a topic that we need to pick up, like in terms of saying, how do you create low cost onboarding solutions? Could be open source, could be cheaper solutions with offline capability. Is that something that we should delve a little deeper on, right? And the second related question is on collections, right? How robust or strong is your collections, and do you see any opportunity there? There are two pieces that I wanted to get a sense of, just to unpeel your challenges.
Sorry,
I know. Yeah.
one is offboarding, another one is repayment.
Onboarding.
Yeah.
See,
My question was more like, in some organizations, right, by default, we end up having these digital field applications which allow for onboarding, seamless onboarding with offline capability, KYC,
right, that
right?
problem we can address. See, connectivity at the center locations, where the members,
Yeah.
that can be addressed by designing the system to work in offline mode, both for the onboarding and also for the collections. That can be handled by a system architecture.
So you don't have a challenge there.
I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the connectivity. Let's say, you have come back to the branch, and from there, from the branch. Branch has to have the internet connectivity, right? Our MFI branch.
Got it. So, okay. And the first step which we spoke about, you're saying there are no challenges there. There, you're saying that you have the underlying system to support that. Is that what it is? Or
There we don't see challenges. Not much of the challenges. Major challenges at the branch level connectivity.
okay, okay. And you have a digital field application for onboarding and all that.
We are now migrating. See, we have some old system is there. Now we are migrating to a new system. So one of the new system which is going to come up is which will be a much more robust and has all the capabilities of offline, online, etc. We are in the transition phase now.
Yeah, so you were slightly as a maybe maturing into that. So do you see any challenges that you feel other MFIs or small people will face? Because what I'm trying to understand, right? Like in our focus group, one of the things was people may not know which solution to go for, right? And the second, there is a
big
cost
problem. That's a
conversation.
big problem.
And then there is a cost conversation. And the third thing is support, right? I don't know, Shashi, who the vendor is, but I don't want to get into that. But some of the people also spoke about ongoing support, right? If the system goes down or you want some small changes to be made, the support for small institutions also suffers. So I'm just trying to get a sense of, are these point of conversations to have? Because it then presupposes an opportunity for us to think of, is there a shared service model which will be useful, right?
That will be useful for the small MFIs. Like we should, all the small MFIs should go in a SaaS model to save cost in the capital, and also to save cost on a monthly recurring also, it will be lesser because MFI, they not just a cost. The challenges will be on the hiring also, because we need to have the IT people manage the servers, to provide a proper support. So that MFIs cannot attract the qualified specialists. They cannot attract. So it's better to go with a SaaS model. I think there are a lot of vendors in the market who provide services. Even Craft Silicon provides. Also, I think there is a lot of other vendors also who provides on a SaaS model. Most of the company, smaller MFI, they are going in a SaaS model only.
But in that case, also, what are the challenges are we seeing?
See, the clients. Client should have access to the data, to the database. So most of the vendors, they don't get that. The client do not get the access to the data. So one is that.
Got it.
So, when you're selecting the vendor, there should be a proper, as long as you select a proper vendor, and if you do your due diligence and all the checks, and if you have a good vendor, then there won't be issues. But even after getting a vendor, also the challenge will be on the database. Client have access to the 100% access to the database. And challenge with the SaaS model is that server will be the hosted model. It will be shared service, shared. So multiple MFIs will be hosted on a single server, and giving the access may be a challenge.
Got it. So we can unpeel this. We don't want to, since it's a 1 hour call, we don't want to solutionize it here, but that's the second conversation that we can have. Now, I know someone else is also joined. So Muthoot Finance, I think Linson is on the call. So just as a conversation to take it from Shashi, what do you see, Linson, just to give a sense of what would you feel like a takeaway from the workshop? Because we're trying to figure out challenges, right? So any challenges that you have seen in your technology or concerns? Because we also have supply side partners, right? We've got two partners, M2P and Craft Silicon, on the call. It will also help in them showcasing what they have, right, to just bridge the gap. Yeah. So any thoughts on that?
We will bring other companies also. So we need to understand the gaps that where we can work on. And one of the things Mr. Mamin was also suggesting, that in any case you have developed something, and as a big agency, and if you want to support the smaller ones with your technology. So these are the two things possibly we can start discussing with you. Amar is also here, so you guys can chip in.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. So as far as we are concerned, it's actually we have a homegrown setup for LMS, LOS, and all. Okay, and also the other part, we do have a lot of other integrations with other banks. All those things are in place, but no, it's actually us. We all considered, no, it's actually the latest regulations. For example, like every week or every month or even no, the RBI or the other people will be already releasing new circulars. That will be a major challenge because no, it's actually we need to integrate those changes with the current whatever applications we already have. That is one of the major challenge. The time to complete the installation and implementation. That is one of the challenge everybody will be facing. So that's why we are mostly depending on the in-house people. So that's why we are maintaining our in-house development team for achieving these targets. That is one of the point. And also we are 100% on a cloud mechanism, no, on cloud platform. That is one of the advantage we'll be having. And the other part, no, as far as the pain is concerned, it's one issue. No, it's like L1, L0 devices, that UIDA mandates for this one, no, that authentication of KYC and all. That is one of the challenge everybody is facing. One. And regarding Shashi already mentioned about no the connectivity and all, and also the VPC or the cloud sharing mechanism, that we need to ask the people to make it separate, like no minimum at least on a separate VPC and also on a separate DB for each and every. It cannot be shared. No, yeah, that is one of the point I'm having here. I hope that is suffice. No.
The other thing which I wanted to ask is like, see, you are a big microfinance institution, right? Not a small. Now, as your journey progressed, what would your suggestion and advice be? Because it'll be interesting to hear from you on the ground later. Is what would the journey typically be, right? Like someone who's got just 2 people, 3 people in-house code developed, and they have an LOS LMS. And
Okay.
then their challenge always been that if they need to progress to an enterprise grade system, right, which is slightly more reliable because of people talent, there's an investment and a cost, right? What
Yeah.
is the direction on decision making that would be done in terms of what solution should I buy because there's no benefit, right? Would be interesting to know your journey, maybe on the ground, or
Okay.
even briefly here. It will be great to
Yeah,
understand.
I already highlighted. No, it's actually the regulators are asking for launching the new changes within a time frame. That will be the major
Hmm.
challenge everybody is facing. That need to be tackled. So that's why we already investing on in-house development team, and that is one of the major thing. And if the partner who can be dependent on achieving this target on time,
Hmm.
then it is
Hmm.
okay, fine. That is one of the major challenge actually, because the dependency will be on the partner, and then partner
Hmm.
need to be delivered on time.
Yeah.
Will affect our business, no? So
Yeah.
if yeah. So that is one of the major challenge we need to look into. Otherwise, I hope it's actually all the other things, the integration with the call ending or whatever. No, it's actually the facilitating the things. That's okay. That is can be
Hmm.
reduced. The issues, no, whatever coming up on the go, we can handle it well. But as far as the major challenge will be on the SaaS based or PaaS based or a homegrown system or a partner dependent system, that is a
Hmm.
code. I hope I can't say anything on that because no, it's actually anyway. Ultimately, the investment on IT need to be there, and then as far
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Because no, the dependency on the partner will be a high risk item, but suppose a reliable partner that will help us to go ahead because no, we also have many other partners. Like no, each and every integration, we are also depending on various partners. Like for example, like paperless transactions or even
Right.
the KYC thing. A lot of integrations are there. So the dependencies are there, but no, it's actually that need to be handled on time, and then that capability need to be built because it's actually the coordinating with the people and whatever challenges coming us and time being we need to handle it, otherwise we will be in trouble, sure.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what you are trying to tell is actually that one is the SaaS model for the smaller MFIs. It can be there, but with the scale, they have to be shifting for their homegrown thing. One thing, but second thing, what I could understand from you, that one of the challenges you were seeing that this regulatory compliances and including it in your technology. Possibly, these are the two very important thing you are talking about. And integration with the co-lending, yes, that's a perpetual thing what we are seeing in this segment, because they see your co-lending thing is coming up, and like BCs, there are many co-lenders. Now everybody has their own technology, so you have to, accept that one. For the business, you have to. There is no other way. You have to do that one. So this is one of the things that how we can build up a system where it will be faster to adopt all these things.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So, if I can ask from Worthreach, somebody was from, yeah, Worthreach, who is there?
It's Rohan, but he said he is traveling. Maybe that
Okay.
is why.
There is somebody called Sheikh Subhani.
He is from Annapurna. So, Sheikh
Okay.
Saab, can you?
Hi.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sheikh, if you can introduce yourself, it would be good.
This is Sheikh from Annapurna. I take care of in-house development of Annapurna.
In-house development of technology.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things we would like to understand from you, what are the predominant challenge of Annapurna in the front of technology?
Means we did not find any challenges, but we have challenges like Balaji was explaining that the cost is too much cutting back on the placing of the security tools like database related, which is DAM is important, WAF is important. Now SaaS model WAF is too expensive. So this is more cost is coming in the infrastructure, right? If, means I personally feel that when we first time just for pilot when we started, and then we found that okay, so much attack on the financial systems and lakhs of IPs from the lakhs of IPs which is attacking, and then we restricted them, and then uh, now we build all the security tools in place now, which is costing too much. That's the only one challenge.
Okay. Basically, you're the security side you were talking about.
More in securing the applications.
Right. So I would like to now understand from both Sugam and Vinish. What's your observation? You are there. Vinish is quite a veteran in this segment, and he is working with a couple of MFIs, many MFIs, in fact. So, what's your observation? What are the challenges we are seeing, and what are the challenges you are seeing in like a near future?
Sugam, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I think one of the major problem statement, I will not call it a problem statement, but that's the general scenario that has happened of late. It's related to compliance, right? The ability of any platform to be able to incorporate changes being asked by the regulator at a record pace is something that is becoming increasingly important, right? For example, be your code should be in an escrow account to give comfort to all the small and big NBFCs. That is something that is becoming very, very important. So compliance is taking center stage. And to all the industry folks that you speak to, this is something that everyone wants to be incorporated at a record time. So it cannot go into anyone's, be it mine or be it Vinicius company's sprint plan. It has to be picked and taken ad hoc. So this is something, one of the major thing that I see. Second point, in terms of challenge, I think, which was highlighted by Shashi as well. Uh, Operational efficiency needs to increase, right? Because this is a very, very high operational kind of lending that we are into. So to ensure that the attrition of the field staff that is there is reduced, how can you reduce it? By giving them solutions that solve for their problems. There is no blueprint that only one particular thing will work for anyone or for every company. Why? Because everyone is actually operating in a lot of tier 3, tier 4 rural areas. So that local connect, whenever someone is developing anything in terms of an app or any solution, I think this is something that is also very, very important. So operational efficiency, I would say, everyone requires, in terms of sourcing, also in terms of collections. So we feel that compliance will be taking forefront more and more as we speak, as it has happened in retail lending, etc. as well. It will happen in MFI as well. And second point is obviously your operational efficiency.
So one of the questions would be like, if we are over dependent on technology is good, but if we are, that's what we are seeing in the market, that if we are using too much of technology in everything, we are losing the like the touch with the people. How do you see?
So, Saibal, so let me
Mm,
just pitch into what
mm,
Shubham has just said. You are
mm,
absolutely right. The balance has to be there in between the right tech and right touch, right?
mm,
So, I mean, microfinance, I mean, it's not like a normal, usual retail or corporate
mm,
lending, right?
mm, mm,
So definitely that touch has to be maintained no matter
mm,
what. But that's the essence of the whole business, right?
mm,
So that has to be maintained no matter what. So that's why we also try to strike the balance. I mean, definitely during the COVID time, we came up with the self onboarding application with opening one more channel, and it has seen some good success. But at the same point of time, if we look at the pattern, while the people have been very bullish about it, but over a period of time, they are operating on in a very, very balanced manner. So maybe like 5%, 10%, wherever we are operational in the self onboarding application, not more than like 5% kind of a thing. If you look at it from an MFI sector, maybe MSME, yes, maybe 10%, but self onboarding is predominantly limited to less than 5%, right? So the channel is there. Now the idea is that how do we digitize the institution while still maintaining the touch points with the end client. Now, one of the questions that came up earlier in between in-house versus this thing, and I'm not speaking from Cloud Silicon perspective, but I'm talking in general, right? So that completely depends on the policy to policy of different organizations because of maybe they are part of the big group, they are part of there can be variety of reasons. But the end of the day, they are not in the business of technology; they are in the business of lending, right? So that balance has to be struck. There are other challenges also in terms of if you look at it, replicating the best practices. So, and also looking at from investment perspective, or I mean, definitely when you have in-house system versus industry tested system, so that's a different dynamics altogether from different angle perspective. I don't want to get too deep into it, but yeah, that's the thing. Another thing what Shubham highlighted and he very rightly pointed out is on the compliance side, right? So what we have done over the last 3-4 years is like one of the best practices that we do is like irrespective if there is a guideline coming from SRO or coming from statutory body, we deploy it and we deploy it free of cost. So those changes are not charged. So those are done irrespective whether the client is on-prem model, PaaS model, or SaaS model. So none of these things are charged. And but now it depends on the organization. So the service enablement and the technology replication is there. But at the same point of time, it now depends on the organizational policy to adopt it, right? So the sooner I mean, if you look at it, for example, the fire, or if you look at the overall this thing. So I don't want to, get too deep into it. We all know, where we are at this point of time, but it depends on the policy to policy, organization to organization. So that's there. Now coming to some of the other things, whether the decision is on the SaaS, whether the decision is on the PaaS. Once again, there is economy, there's commercial, there's a long-term vision. There are multiple dynamics that play a role over there. But from us, our perspective, while we are definitely trying to make it as economically viable as possible, there are certain compliances that needs to be adhered no matter what. So I'll give you one example. Let's say, for example, in our case, we give minimum three inputs, which is production, DR, and UAT, so that from a compliance perspective, it is met. All the security parameters are met. So let's say any SaaS client in our case need not to spend on any compliance thing. Like let's say, for example, we do all the VAPT twice a year, which is required from RBI perspective. We do ISO 27K, BCMS, SOC 1 Type 2, source code review, product benchmark. So all these are audits are done by us, and they are done by RBI empaneled auditors, and we extend those certificates to all our SaaS clients. And also in case of enterprise clients like VAPT for the application and all, those certificates we extend it. So we can make it like, and similarly, like for example, earlier there were very few RegTech involvement, right? Let's say only credit bureau or ID verification and all that. But now there is a plethora of service. Somebody rightly mentioned, how do we go about e-sign and all that. So those integration, we have formed the alliances. So the integration cost goes down. And these are pre-integrated services available in our LMS, LOS collection and all. So that even from a client perspective, it's like a 360-degree environment rather than looking for individual vendor, individual tech partner or technology partner to explore and to finalize. When we are offering like a 360-degree ecosystem, then it becomes very easy. So with all the industry leaders, we have like in respect, wherein we are offering it as a service directly.
Okay, so one thing I want to know that how many of these institutions are using this eKYC Setu, I mean, developed by NPCI? Do you have any idea?
Numbers, Saibol, I need to run.
Okay.
I need to check on that.
Huh.
But eKYC definitely, how many of them has actually gone through the, fulfilling the RBI requirement and doing
See,
the,
no. This is a product developed by NPCI. It is not that.
the Setu one.
The Setu one, yes. So it's the
Yeah.
easier process. If you are a regulated entity, you can get
Yeah.
it easy. I mean, easily you can
Not
get
very
it
many.
through.
Not
So not
very
many,
many.
no?
Not many.
Because I was also thinking that there may not be many. Because NPCI, they are pushing it, but I need to check why is it not happening. But anyway, perfectly fine. So,
And also just adding to what Manish was saying, when it comes to compliance, the VAPT report, etc., right? I believe that is a sacrosanct thing that any technology provider, since we were sometime back talking about what should an ideal MFI company be looking for when it goes out to hunt for a vendor, right? To do its technical know-hows. So basically, anyone who's running this business, the VAPT reports, these are sacrosanct and they should be made available to any MFI. If someone is looking, be it any small, big, or any organization, because regulator is becoming more stringent. So one of the most important things is whenever you go to any vendor, if they don't have a VAPT report, let's say, available readily, then that is probably something that everyone needs to look at very, very seriously. Yes, there are versioning involved, and every version might have a different VAPT, but one VAPT report, for example, I'm just saying VAPT, should be readily available. So that is one of the major things that anyone should look at. Like he was mentioning that, they have, so for example, we readily have. Then second point, the stats that you were talking about, right? eKYC Setu is one, but there's another, for example, AUH solutions that are getting implemented, right? There are a couple of NBFCs who have actually implemented AU as well, but that is only for larger organizations because then it comes with a lot of cost as well, and you need to have an approval from the regulator also. You need to get a license from them, and then only you can obviously apply for it. So this is also something that large organizations can actually pre-integrate. For example, in our solution, it is pre-integrated. If someone has an AU license, you can actually straight away use this solution. Yeah. So these are some of the things that any MFI looking for a vendor should definitely look for.
I can add one more point on top of you. this VAPT is very important, and DLS are also important. Every 6
Absolutely.
months,
Yeah, yeah.
DLS are important.
Yes.
That's added one point for me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Makes sense. Yes. And I think what should happen is ideally, instead of any client coming to anyone and saying, can you give us this, there should be a section available wherein they can actually themselves also download basic reports, right? Someone has to report to bureau. It shouldn't be coming to any vendor and telling them that, boss, please give me that report. There should be an option in the panel, download like we do, and simply move ahead in life. So that reduces dependency on technology also, because I think Saibal was mentioning that how much of it is completely technology dependent. So I think this should be available in the system itself, so that the manual intervention becomes very less and regulatory aspects get taken care of.
Yeah, agree. One more is that escrow account, which is like any MFI or LOS/LMS providers, to be facilitate that escrow account also to be like code safety.
Absolutely. I think this has become this is now part of the regulation as well.
Yes, yes, this is also added in regulation.
This is added in regulation. For example, we do it off the shelf. We've already implemented in 3 of our places, because you can't now move ahead without this. So this is absolutely required. So it's readily available. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Getting some
Good afternoon, Dr. Saibal, and good afternoon, Sangeeta ma'am. This is Manoj from Worthridge. If you allow, can I put in my thoughts also?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Manoj Singh, CEO of Worthridge Micro Capital, and we are, though new to this segment and evolving, this is a very, very important topic which Sadhan has brought in. And if this is like, technology managing business, any business without technology is like running on a single leg. So there's no doubt that technology is it's from becoming an enabler, it is also becoming core of every businesses, especially the financial services. My few thoughts on this are that just like the microfinance, there are small microfinance, medium microfinance, and obviously the large ones. We have challenges that, when we go to acquire the system to run our MFIs, at the very low end, you don't have the stability of continuity. You don't know whether tomorrow those systems will run or not, because, there are price implications also. Whereas you go to the higher end, obviously because of the features and the stability, the costs are so high that the small and medium microfinance may not find it cost effective to go for these solutions. So they are into a catch-22 situation, that they cannot afford the higher ones, whereas the lower ones are not very stable for them in the long run. So while, to get out of this catch-22 situation, there is a thought process, okay, let's build it. But that also is not a very viable option, because if you are building it, you need to have your in-house team, you need to have your in-house capabilities. So that also will encompass, additional cost for the MFIs to go through that route. So obviously, buy becomes a better option, but there are some solutions required from the service providers in terms of getting inclusion of, I would say, MFIs, small MFIs into the good software services. Just to give an example, and these innovations are already happening in the market, not so much in the MFI part. Like if you have to do a basic accounting for your organizations, you have off-the-shelf product like Tally available for job. Whereas for the big organizations, obviously you have SAP financials to take on to the ERP and get into the entire gamut of financial planning. So this is where the service provider needs to come in and try to put in some innovative solutions so that the entire spectrum of the MFIs are available to be able to pick and choose as per their cost structure as to what services they would like to have it for them to roll on. While some of the structures, pricing structures also need innovations from the software service provider. Like, you could have a pay as you go kind of model where it is a variable cost for the organization rather than a one-time standard cost, which is causing an entry barrier for these organizations to get on into a robust software services. So this is where Sadhan actually can play a big role in terms of looking at the spectrum of the MFIs, what their needs are, because while people across the various MFIs are using various kind of software technologies, these can also be standardized along a whole model of standard reporting. This is something which has become very important in the context of the macro environment which MFIs are going through. So it is time that we as an industry have some standard reporting structures which use the same input data. Nobody, like if I am using a input data for some reporting structure, it should be used by the same MFIs across it. Talking about KYC, and then credit check, these are the the basics and the fundamentals, which is like a bread and butter for MFIs. You cannot run if you don't have these KYCs or credit check or disbursement and all. So it should be like breathing for the MFI. It is not to be something which should be something outside of the daily ecosystem. It's like daily breathing. You have to do that. But the problem comes in the larger management in terms of multi-geographies, reportings, your code of conduct, your regulatory. So this is where the technology plays the very critical role. And I think if only the service provider are able to segment their offerings based on the size and the capacities of the MFIs, this will bring in a big change in the way even the smaller ones operate, and try to bring in what you call a formal way of managing MFIs, whoever it is, whether it is a small MFIs, mid MFIs, it becomes a very formal and a professional way of managing the things. So these are some of my thoughts, Dr. Sabel and ma'am. So you can take it forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's good to hear from you. And these are the very genuine challenges. I mean, so Balaji, we have got also Dr. Dipankar Rai. Dipankar is a researcher on the BFSI technology side from NIBM. So,
Okay.
I mean, we are also bringing him in as he has done a lot of researches on this segment. It would be good to get your view as well. So Dipankar,
Okay,
I know you are here for 5-10 minutes
yeah,
because the class is
yeah.
going on, but still, if you can introduce yourself a bit, then it would be good for all of us. We should know the team we are working with. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, So good afternoon to everyone. Sorry, I mean, I somehow missed out. I had today full morning. I was busy. I even have to go to a session right now. Anyway, so I'm an associate professor with NIBM. So I am with this NIBM for almost 20 years now. So I work intensely in the areas of digital banking, payments, digital lending, fintech, blockchain, AI, digital financial inclusion. These are some of the areas I work intensively. I do a lot of research, consulting, training, etc. on these areas. And I have a lot of publications, research publications in these domains. So basically I'm interested in this digital financial inclusion space and would like to contribute in whatever manner to this gathering or this whatever you are trying to come out with or propose some research on this particular aspect of MFI, and how technology can create an impact on the MFIs and to achieve the broader financial inclusion objective, right? Because commercial banks, traditional banks, they are using technology in a big way, and they have found a lot of merits in using technology to reach the last mile. And in that journey, even we see a lot of fintechs partnering with banks alongside with banks to achieve this objective. So yes, so it will be very interesting for me to join this group in whatever way I can contribute, whatever knowledge I have on this particular area. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, it would be definitely depending on you, on your insights, that how can we take one step ahead of this financial inclusion and technology. So it's good. There is one word suggestion. I mean, Balaji is that would be good to converge on a low cost technology and shared service construct with modular pricing. But one problem may be there. This is a kind of SaaS model you are talking about. But in SaaS model, which we could understand that, the adaptation of the compliance, which we get now and then, may be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's more. I was just trying to jump to a solution not required, but I was just trying to hear from Worthrich, and which is what Saibal we also heard in the other focus group discussions, right? At the end of the day, he put it very well, right? Small MFIs have a demand for sure, but from a supply side, the service providers may not find it economically viable, right? So how do we construct a model wherein like he said, right, if we have 5-6 MFIs who are of the size of Worthrich, if they come together, right, there's a demand aggregation happening, and then the shared service model gets viable. So it'll be good to get a sense of what is it like an M2P or a Craft Silicon think as viable models to provide a service level which is in line with the top-notch, MFIs to a set of, MFIs. So what is that kind of a sweet spot, right, which will then help in solving for what Worthrich came up with, because otherwise the problem remains a problem. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking about, is to, as a workshop, we will want to get a sense from M2P, Craft Silicon in terms of the shared service construct, commercial construct, at least some guidance, right? And then what is a viable solution for them? Yeah. It'll be good if it's like a working resolution for that, right? Then we can go away with a possible concept of a shared service construct.
Okay, one of the points which possibly we can it's objective of us that how can we develop a convergence and like a data aggregation of small MFIs and develop something. So this is one of the takeaway can be from our this envisioned workshop with CTOs. What are the other things? One thing which you want to see in the in our this interface in our this workshop. If I can ask Linson to start with, Linson, one thing you want to get as output from this interface.
Can you please clarify?
What I'm trying to understand that as an objective. So this we could understand there is a demand supply gap over there. There is the small big MFI. I mean small MFIs. They do have different set of these things. There is a problem in what do you call this compliance side. Everything. What exactly one thing you want to take away for you from this workshop?
Yeah.
We are
Doc-
organizing a workshop. Yes.
Dr. Saibal, if I could, answer this, while having a paper
If I can come back to you after a round,
yeah, sure.
because I'd be looking forward to hear from you. Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The workshop, no, it's actually the people coming from various backgrounds, and the MFIs are also on a different scales. A lot of bottlenecks are there. Like, no, it's actually the technology, implementation of various technologies, various partners, various integrations, various regulations, how we can tackle it, because no, it's actually there will not be any standardized format to follow up, correct? But ultimately we need to go through such a different kind of scenarios, and need to set a standard, like, no, it's a for example, like already we have discussed about the KYC thing, no, yeah, for example, like that, and also the integration with the various parties, and also a common platform, like, no, later on, no, it's actually any blockchain kind of a thing will be coming up also, we need to adapt everything, correct? So a common standard of platform can be adopted by everyone, and also it need to be like a no, it's a SaaS model with the other options available. That is good, but no, it's a takeaway should be like, no, size-wise SME or mid segment or a big segment technology we will be talking about. No, all are same, correct? Yeah, so the takeaway will be, that should be, a helping hand to all the people to tackle the issues, whatever coming up due to especially, the mandatory things will be come up through, already we discussed about escrow and all other part, no, so that's the way the maturity will be very much needed for everybody to handle the issues whenever it is coming up. That is one of the main area need to be focused.
Okay, you're talking about creation of supportive mechanism, right?
Correct.
Okay. One
Yeah,
is common.
then only mainly Sadhan is also standing for that purpose, correct?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So Vinesh, one thing as a takeaway you want to see?
See, definitely as a takeaway, what I want to see is that how we can collaborate together, number one. The focus should be more on, I mean, if you are planning a workshop, Saibol and Sangeeta, maybe I think what we can look at it is having maximum participation from startup MFIs or the small and medium MFIs. I mean, depending upon how you want to define the threshold, maybe like less than 20 CR or less than 50 CR and all that. So maybe that participation where we don't even have the right IT team, or even on the namesake perspective, maybe 1% or 2% is there on the IT side, or maybe with the direct CXO level engagement is required, so that we understand more from a business perspective than from a technology perspective. Because if we understand from a business perspective, solving it through technology is easier. Coming up with a common platform, that's easier. I mean, and I've already shared with you and Balaji and everybody else that we have done it in some of the other countries, the case study and all that I have already shared. So, I mean, definitely with bit of tweak, bit of redefining and all that, we can definitely, I don't see a reason that why we can't replicate. And what I think Mr. Manoj was saying is some of the very, very valid points. And I think it's pretty doable. It's pretty doable. I don't see a reason why it cannot be done.
Okay. So you are very right. When we were discussing internally, one of the suggestion came that not only CTOs, you have to bring the business people also. Technology is only the means, and business is the thing which we want to do. Support the people, and the poor people is the thing which we want to intend. And for that reason, how technology can help us in different segments. I mean, you're perfectly fine, yes. And you're talking about
And exactly same problems we solved in Ethiopia. I've already shared that. Not only in Ethiopia, but we started with Ethiopia. We replicated in few other countries. Exactly same problem.
Where in Ethiopia
Because
you
we
did
were
it?
already.
Where in
So
Ethiopia you
basically,
did it?
what happened is Ethiopia, we already had some of the larger MFIs, but there were so there are two SRO bodies. So one is called AEMFI, which is Association of Ethiopian Microfinance Institutions, right? So AEMFI, we came up with a joint model, right? Joint
Mm.
model in terms of deploying one common platform, which is kind of a shared by smaller MFIs.
Mm.
So there are about right now, I mean, we started with about 22. Right now, I think we have got about 30 plus MFIs linked to it. And they all came to India. They looked at, I think when Satish sir was there, you, me, and Satish sir, we also had that discussion. I think
Mm-hmm.
2018, 2019 timeframe, if you remember,
Right.
right?
Right.
So those
Because
guys also came. We had meetings.
I'm interested in Ethiopia because I've set up a fund over there, Enterprise
Yeah,
Promotion Fund.
okay. Okay, yeah. So AEMFI people, you must be knowing them very well.
Mm-hmm.
They are the association, right?
Mm.
So same thing, and exactly same thing. We were about to close it in Myanmar before
Okay.
this coup happened. So we almost closed it in 2020, everything with I forgot that name of that association, starting with I think N or M something.
Which one?
So the association in Myanmar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting the abbreviation correct.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, so
Sangeeta
we
can help
almost
us.
yeah, so we almost closed it the same model over there as well, but then
Okay.
this coup happened and everything else.
Okay.
So in fact, UN was very interested, UNCDF and UN Ops was very interested in replicating something like that. But yeah, I mean that's just a long story cut short. But yeah, I can see that definitely happening in India as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. You're talking about collaboration and convergence and also bringing together business and tech people for the right
Correct.
perspective.
And not
Perfectly fine.
only business and technology service provider, but I suggest that we also bring in the RegTech provider. So we can bring in the people from e-sign and ID verifications and credit bureau and all that. I mean everybody would. I'm pretty sure that they would be very very happy to collaborate.
Perfectly fine. We were thinking about that one also. When I started, we were discussing that whether we need to bring some external agencies like government and other. So we'll definitely think over it, ponder over it. It would be good to get them. Only the thing that that it shouldn't be like a Bhasan Baji. And when we are going, everybody has done the lip service,
No,
and we are not
it
getting
has to be
anything.
actionable.
Right.
Correct. It has to be actionable.
Ekdam.
100% actionable. Just Saibol, I'm already saying that we have done it. I'm pretty sure M2P must have got some use cases. We have got few use cases. We can bring in people like Legality, Gaza, Bina. There can be so many of them, right? I mean, we can bring in Equifax, Highmark. Why not? I mean, we can bring them all together and look at the right actionable rather than talking about just on the paper and on the theory. So it's very much doable.
And actually, we were also thinking not to build up a mela around it. We want real discussion over there and take some actionable point
Right.
which will be helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, Sugam, one thing you want to say, your takeaway you are looking for. Sugam, you are on mute.
Yes, hi. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, just give me a moment. I think I've moved out. There's some connectivity issue. Just give me like 30 seconds. 30 seconds, please. Yes, hi. Sorry for this. I think totally agree with what Vinish was also saying, that there has to be a collaborative approach. Another thing that he was highlighting, red tech, right? So, for example, we acquired a company called Centizen, right? Who does exactly all the red techs, from your eKYC, from your CKYC, from your Aadhaar verification, so on and so forth. So probably their participation can also be very, very helpful. And all the MFIs that are coming over there, they should be able to see as to how a seamless a solution can be. And how off the shelf, if they take any vendor, they would be able to solve for it. So this is something that should definitely be considered. Also, in terms of when the workshop is happening, probably either it gets split into two parts. I think that'd be really, really helpful. In terms of, I'm not sure how many people are participating in terms of vendor. I could only see Vanish and me right now on the call. But if there are more people, then if let's say hypothetically, if 20 people are participating, probably 10, it can be a group of 10 each, wherein one set goes to one first, and another set goes to another set first. We've actually also, set up a lot of companies in Africa region when it comes to MFI. We are working very closely in the Southeast Asia region when it comes to your Philippines, Indonesian market, and that is something that I would just request and recommend, just to have a very, very fruitful conversation, wherein the RedTech company and LOS LMS providers can probably get it split, so that it's a useful, spent of time for
Discussion.
everyone who's there.
So if you guys, both of Vinish and you, if you have any suggestion whom to bring in, we have definitely a list. If you have something in your mind whom we can bring, if you can write us back as well. Apart from, all of you need to help us to build up this agenda. That's why we have organized this. So even Linson, Amar, Vinish, Sheikh, everybody. So thank you very much. You were talking about this once again, convergence. So can I now, request?
Also, the last thing, when are we finalizing this? Is it on 5th of December? I see the date, or is it getting extended?
Which one? Possibly 5th of December. Not 5th of December. Sangeeta can tell us. May not
Yes, 5th of December.
Uh-huh.
So each of you can WhatsApp me about the agenda that you are proposing, so that we can consolidate and put a agenda that works for everybody. And
Yeah, and Balaji is there already. Balaji gone out and once again come back. And
No, I disconnect हो गया था call.
yeah. So Balaji is here to pull up everything and put it in agendas. Balaji and Sangeeta.
So it'll happen in Delhi.
It will happen in Delhi. Yes, that's what we are thinking.
Great. Okay. If possibly by 20th, if we can have a set agenda, I think it will help all of
Sure.
us.
Sure.
in
Even
line.
before
Yeah.
we are looking forward to set up the agenda and other things. Yeah, and so if I can now come back to Manoj, if you can.
Eva, we have only 5 minutes. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. So
Sure.
It's fine.
can we wrap up? Yeah.
I'll certainly take less than that. So my takeaway and the way forward is that this technology will play a role at the various level of what we call as pyramid. At the bottom of pyramid, it will bring in obviously efficiency, and in the long run, it should bring in because manually you cannot run a large operation. So it should transform into a paperless MFI operation. That should be the long bottom of the pyramid transformation this particular group should get. Second is obviously, when you need KYC, credit check, and, payment systems, you need to get NPCI, you need to get, the credit bureaus and the eKYC partners into the system, so that the basic fundamental transactions which happen on a daily basis is frictionless, and it doesn't create any stoppage to the entire operation. It becomes a seamless operation. At the top of the pyramid, obviously it gets into data analytics and brings artificial intelligence, machine learning, and so on and so forth. If we can reach that level, we can really transform this entire industry into not into just a credit delivering industry, but a knowledge industry. So that should be the ultimate aim of this entire group. Thank you.
Okay, got your point. So Balaji, if you want to contribute anything, kind of takeaway, because you will be the integral part of this overall exercise. We are working with Axiom. I mean, you are our member, one of the members, and also like we are working on this technology front from long time. So Balaji, if you want to put forward, it's fine. And if you don't want to put forward at this point of time, when we'll be building up the agenda, if you, I mean, definitely you have to contribute in it.
Yeah, so let's build an agenda. We've got a good idea from the
Right.
key stakeholders, right?
Right.
And my sense is that we more from like the small MFIs, like was already stated, will be good to add more in the forum so that we get a good outcome. Because
Okay.
yeah, so we can think of it as three broad topics. One is current demand, right, which is basically around the MFIs and what they're thinking. We heard from both Rich, we may end up having similar conversations. So one's on the demand side. The second would be the opportunities that we've seen, which is how this has been stalled outside, right? The shared service construct could be something. Then challenges in the shared services itself is something that we can talk about. So I have some broad thinking around it. We can circulate within the current set of people who were on the call just to reflect on this and whether they find this meaningful.
Perfectly fine.
So you should be hearing a rough construct in the next 2 days from me. If you feel comfortable, I can send it to the to this group. If else, I can just send it to you and send it up.
Okay. So one of the thing is that familiarization, there are many technology available in our system. So how to display their thing as well. We need to think a bit.
See, one is I wonder whether Muthoot Finance being where they are, right, will they be open to sharing their journey and how it will be interesting for the small MFIs to see that you don't have to be worried, you can start small and grow. It will be interesting as a case study if they are willing to showcase, right, where they started, how they started, how have they grown, what kind of key decisions that they took in terms of investments. It's like a good learning experience as well for others, right? Because one of the challenges that I've always seen is even when I was an Ujjivan, taking that step of investing, right, always is a challenge in terms of okay, paisa nahi hai. Lekin, how do you take the decision in terms of the benefit coming out of it, and therefore we should kind of take these key decisions. It'd be interesting to get some sense.
Agree. It's a case study.
Yeah,
So one.
so what I wanted to tell you that all of us have some kind of thoughts, so let us jot down all those thoughts and please share amongst ourselves so that we can come up with a very robust kind of agenda. So it is a one-day workshop and we should be able to at least
utilize it properly
and come up with some way forward. So it is not just the only one technology workshop. We will have many, but we have to set the foundations proper.
So what Balaji is telling us, Sangeeta, he will circulate a kind of very rough agenda for our consumption. It would be good. We would be looking forward, Balaji, for this your support.
So can we wrap up because the other meeting is coming? Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We look
Thank you
forward
very
to hearing
much
from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.